Hello, good evening again from St. Peter's in Hove. Once more, I just want to look at this passage where Jesus is handed over for crucifixion after the mob call for his death. We've looked at the character of Barabbas, we've looked at the character of Pilate. Now let's look at the character, in inverted commas, of the Sanhedrin. We're told here that Pilate recognizes that for he realized that it was out of jealousy the chief priests had handed Jesus over. And then, of course, it says the chief priests, however, had incited the crowd to demand that he, Pilate, should release Barabbas for them instead of Jesus. So we've got two charges against the chief priests here. First of all, that they were jealous of Jesus, therefore they conspired to hand him over to Pilate so he could be executed. What on earth does that mean? Jealous? Well, envious, maybe. It was out of envy that they betrayed the Son of God. They could not bear the sight of him because he made them look bad. His virtues threw their vices into sharp relief. And this is quite a common thing among people. He made them feel guilty. Well, they'd committed various sins, and they should have been guilty, but their reaction was not to repent of their sins, but rather to kill the man who made them feel guilty. Even today, Jesus Christ has aroused grave disquiet in people. He is set for the rise and the fall of many in Israel, we hear in St. Luke's Gospel in his infancy. People are disquieted by Jesus Christ because he makes, without saying anything, just by being himself, demands on them. He makes them feel that they are not living up to the high vocation as human beings that they have. They look at Jesus Christ, they see his compassion, his love, his charity, and they realize that they themselves, by contrast, are rather mean individuals, and as a result, they want to stifle the words of Jesus Christ, because those words haunt them, those words make them feel bad about themselves. It's a strange thing, isn't it? Generally speaking, when we see something good, true, and beautiful, we should be warmed by the good, the truth, and the beauty that we see. But we can have this opposite reaction. And I think we need to be honest about that. And of course, people get very self-defensive and very angry when they're made to feel guilty. And the Pharisees and the Sanhedrin, they're made to feel guilty by Jesus Christ because he is the one who does what they should have been doing, ministers to the people and loves the people because they are God's people, after all. The other thing is that the Pharisees and the Sanhedrin have incited the mob against Jesus. Now, this again is very mysterious because the crowds of Jerusalem had welcomed Jesus on Palm Sunday. Suddenly, there's a huge turnaround, a dramatic turnaround, because the crowd is now calling for Jesus' death. Now, it has often been stated, or without any actual proof, that there would have been people in the Palm Sunday crowd acclaiming Jesus who were now calling for his death. It wasn't exactly the same crowd, but there would have been a bit of an overlap between the two. And therefore, crowds are fickle. Well, yes, that's certainly true. Crowds are fickle because they can be incited, manipulated by people in power. How the Pharisees manipulated the crowd, we don't know. We're not given the details. It's possible they bribed them. It's possible they gave them money. And they had a few people in the crowd shouting for the death of Jesus who had been paid to do so. And then it caught on. It's possible that they spread rumors. It's possible they whipped people up with conspiracy theories. It's possible they said this Jesus is bringing us all bad luck, or this Jesus is going to have our temple destroyed. Therefore, we must get rid of him to save ourselves. That's quite possible. And of course, we've seen how that happens in the history of the 20th century. If you remember, the Nazis, one of their most wicked slogans was, Die Juden sind unser Unglück. The Jews are our misfortune. That is to say, everything that's wrong in life is caused by the Jews. Get rid of the Jews, everything will be fine and dandy. A completely irrational statement, yet one that did gain traction. Maybe they've demonized or othered Jesus in such a way that the people realize they must get rid of Jesus for the sake of saving themselves. We don't know. Generally speaking, it took Hitler quite a few years to demonize the Jewish race. And here, how do they demonize Jesus? We really don't know. We've got to be aware of manipulation and how we can be manipulated. We condemn the crowd that wanted Barabbas liberated and Jesus executed. Oh, yeah, we can say, oh, yeah, well, that's terrible. But there again, how many times have we done something similar? How many times have we, as a crowd or part of a crowd, allowed ourselves to be manipulated? Of course, the Pharisees, quite a job they did in this manipulation. How they did it, as I say, is not clear. Nowadays, we have so many much easier ways of manipulating crowds. It's very easy to stir up a crowd nowadays. Again, the madness of crowds. What a terrible warning this is. Thank you for listening. All the very best. We'll be back again soon. Bye.